Content creation has evolved into a rewarding career for many. This week, we're speaking to one of the highest paid content creators in Kenya. We're featuring Murugi Munyi, and we're talking about what it takes to thrive in content creation. This is She Means Business. I am your host, Claire Munde. Hi Murugi.
Hi Claire.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. So today we want to talk all about content creation and making money in content creation. A lot of people wonder, is this something that someone can make a career out of? But before we do that, we are shooting at the lovely Samawi Terrace in Karen, which is beautiful for corporate events. And I want us to get straight into it. So rumor has it that you're one of the highest paid content creators and influencers in Kenya.
That's an amazing title. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because you see, you would have to know how much everyone else is earning. But am I a well-paid content creator? I am.
Okay. What is well-paid? What does that mean?
Well-paid is I earn in the millions from my platforms.
Okay. Yeah. In the millions per month?
Yeah, per month, yes.
Okay, so we want to understand how can people get to that level of earning as a sole career path. So tell us, how did you get into content creation, first of all? Was it something that you had always thought about, or is it something that you transitioned to?
Right, so I definitely had not thought about it. It's something that I transitioned into. So in 2017, I gave birth to my daughter. She was my second born, but my firstborn at that point was like 7 years old. So it felt like I was doing motherhood afresh. And I remember at that time, it was 2017, beginning of 2018. I was feeling really frustrated. Like there were many struggles I was going through, and I wasn't seeing anyone creating content, the kind of motherhood content that I wanted to see. I was like, are other people struggling with breastfeeding? Are other people also having issues with, like, you know, like postpartum blues and things like that? And I wasn't really seeing that. So it was more of like craving a connection, like to see, are there other women going through this? So I remember that time my handle was Yummy Mommy, and I just started posting about the things I was going through, some of the struggles, some of the positive things, how it feels like going back to work and your child is at home. And I noticed over time many people started following me. So at that time I hadn't even considered it as a career option because I was working in communications and marketing. But over time, like in that 2018, between January and December, I noticed a lot of people are following me. A lot of people are like, oh, Murugi, please talk about this, talk about it. Okay, then I was Yummy Mommy. So they just say, Yummy Mommy, talk about this. How have you handled this kind of thing? And by the end of the year, I realized I got my first brand deal. I remember I was paid 100,000 and it was Junction Mall was the client, and they were having this motherhood event, and they invited me and they're like, post about it and we'll pay you 100K for you to attend the event and post about it. And I was like, haya, kumbe kuna pesa hapa, because I was like, if this is my first one and it's 100K, oh my gosh, that means I can really make money. So I remember doing that one, and I got a few other clients around that time, and I told my husband, listen, I want you to support me. Me no, ukinipea support, naeza fika huko juu. And he was like, you know what, just you can try. So I decided to quit my job and pursue it full time, and it has more than paid me back. So I would say I stumbled into it, but now I realized if this is how much I'm able to make, if I am, you know, in a corporate job and I'm doing it on the side, how much more can I make if I focus on it full time? So from 2018 to mpaka wa leo, it has been my full-time job, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. And you talked about you started as Yummy Mommy and now you're Murugi Munyi. Yeah. Tell us about that transition, rebranding. What was the thinking behind that, first of all?
So initially, the reason I had even chosen Yummy Mommy, by the Yummy Mommy is it's a tier of existence. It's not a person. There are many other Yummy Mommies in the world. Anyone who's a delicious mother, who's a cute, just like feels themselves and they're happy, you know, that's a Yummy Mommy to me. So at that time, when I started, because I was posting a lot about motherhood, it just made sense, and I wanted my identity to be based around my motherhood. And I had my child in 2017, and then I had my third born in 2020. But when it got to like 2021, 2022, I realized that having that title of Yummy Mommy was boxing me in that when people interacted with my content, it was always from the frame of mind of she's a mother. So even the brands which were approaching me were all motherhood related, all kids related, and I wanted to be seen as more than just a mom, because above all else, I'm a woman. I like hair, I like makeup, I like like clothes, I like, you know, I do different things, I go to the gym, like I'm more than just a mom. So I just made a decision and I was like, I want to be known by my actual name, which is Joanne Murugi Munyi. And one night nikaamka tu asubuhi nika change na ni hivyo. And since then I've been Murugi Munyi.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about the business side of this content creation. Some people say that it's about luck, there's a bit of luck, and then there are others who say there's actually like a strategy, a formula. So what is your way of going about it? Has there been an element of luck? Do you have a strategy when you're going about content creation?
Right, yeah.
What does it look like?
So for me, I wouldn't say that I believe in luck. I would say favor. Let's say favor. That's what I would say. I would definitely say there's an element of favor, and I would say that exists with any career. Yeah. There's you who's here, but there's many other people who have studied journalism who are and don't have jobs right now, you know. So there's always an element of favor. However, with content, I truly believe there is a formula that one can follow, which enables them to be able to earn better. One of the things that people always say to me or like say about me is that I'm consistent. I feel like I'm a really, really consistent content creator. Hakuna siku yenye itapita without me doing one post or without me doing without me doing like a post or a reel. So I have put in the work to be able to earn the way that I earn. And I feel like a lot of times many people don't realize that it's a long game. It's actually a numbers game. You need to create and keep creating for a long period of time for you to actually realize those like benefits. Of course, there are people who get lucky, who you put up one post, you go viral. Like even Azia, although even her, she had been creating content for a while before her overnight success. But there are some people who is like, okay, you create one video, it goes viral. But for the majority of people, you need to create for a long period of time for you to actually attract brands. Then on top of that, it needs to be good quality content. It needs to be content that people are actually interested in. And a lot of people don't realize that online, people are craving community. The people who you follow is because you're like, oh, that person is like me, that person looks like me, oh, I like how she dresses, I want to, you know, see more about that. Oh, that person has a family, I'm aspiring to that. So you want to kind of feel like you're in a community. So the more you build that community based off of the content that you're creating, the more you're able to monetize that, because you want to create a community which is like, these people trust you. And how do they trust you? Consistency. You need to create more often. It can't be, it's like a relationship with a man and a woman. You can't be posting today, then 3 months you've disappeared. After 3 months you come and start telling, no, I see you, by the way. It doesn't work like that. You need to be like consistent. You need to be creating good quality content, and then it also needs to be your platform has to be monetizable, so to speak. So one of the things I tell people, there's a masterclass that I teach, and in that masterclass I'm always telling people that you need to show brands that you are a marketable brand, so to speak. So for example, in the morning today, I wake up, I get dressed, I brush my teeth. I can be like, oh, this is the toothpaste that I usually use, you know, or this is the where I buy my trousers. This is the kind of perfume that I'm wearing, even if it's not sponsored. But over time, when those brands start seeing that when person X mentions us, we get more followers. When this person does this, a lot more people are buying. That already proves your value, and then that enables them to take notice of you, and then that enables you to start earning. Can anyone make money online? Yes, I do believe that it's possible. I don't think that it's like for a very few number of people. Of course, you have to have also some level of charisma. You know, if you're a boring person who wants to follow you, you have to have some level of charisma. People have to enjoy watching you. I always say that for my platform, I want to, when someone watches my content, I want them to be like inspired or encouraged, but at the base of it, maybe even just entertained. Like even if it's just a funny video, they can just be entertained, because everyone comes online to feel nice. If you're suffering in your life, you have to come and watch a video, you're smiling, you're happy, or at least you've learned something. So there has to be value that you're offering people for you to monetize your platforms.
Wow, I think that's amazing. You've talked about, you know, the consistency and whatnot, but you know, there are people who are consistent, but their numbers have never grown. So what would you tell that person who is looking at getting into content creation? And yes, they're consistent, they're putting out the content. Is it that they are boring, as you're saying, or what would it be? What is it that is making them stuck at a certain place?
Well, are you consistently creating bad content? Are you consistently creating content that people don't care enough about? Because you see, there's also, you have to read the mood of the audience that you are trying to target. If, for example, right now, people are frustrated, people don't have money or whatever, but your content is all about this super luxury aeroplane that you want to be on. Of course, people might watch and be like, oh, okay, fine, that's really nice. But being able to connect with someone and saying, you are also struggling, your taxes have also gone up. You know, it's like we are both going through the same thing. That's what is most memorable to most people. That's what I've found. I would also say that if someone is creating content and they can see that it has been a good amount of time. And when I say a good amount of time, because you see sometimes someone will say I'm consistent, it's been 3 months.
Okay.
Sometimes it'll be I'm consistent, it's only been 6 months. Content is like losing weight. You kind of have to just do it for a long period of time for you to actually see those results. Many times it will not happen overnight. I would say if it has been like a year or 2 years and you're not seeing any traction, maybe consider that content might not be for you. Maybe consider that maybe you need to pivot and see what other kind of content that you are, other kind of content you can make. Sometimes I've seen people who are doing, like, let's say food content, but as soon as they transition and start doing lifestyle content, people really follow them. Or maybe even the other way around, maybe you're doing hair content but people don't like your hair, or whatever. Maybe if you transition to start doing makeup, guys, now you'll see people starting to follow you. So I would say experiment with different kinds of content, remain true to who you are, because you never want to come online and perform. You want it to be as natural as possible. Me, whenever I'm creating content, by the way, I don't even feel like I'm working. It just feels like, I'm just paid to live and to exist and to show people what I'm doing, So it needs to be something which comes naturally to you. It needs to be something that is not too forced or doesn't feel forced. And then just keep doing it and test. Instagram, for example, has introduced this new feature called trial reels. So basically it's like when you want to upload a reel, you put the reel there and it like shows people who don't follow you, and you can see how well is this going to perform. And you might notice, okay, in this week I'll do a video about event spaces, the next one about food, the next one about lifestyle. Then you see the one of food is the one performing well. Maybe that's a tester to you that maybe I can go into that direction.
Okay. And I want to throw a spanner in the works. You said that you need to read the room and see what people are going through, and you're saying like right now everyone is like this economy and whatnot. That was it a reel that you put some weeks back or whatever about how much you spend, and what do you tell people about staying true to yourself, but everyone is at a different level? Because there was so much conversation around that. I want you to address that now that you spoke on that. So
interestingly enough, me, when I put up the video, I was just thinking to myself,
and even talk about the video first of all, for those who don't know it.
Okay, fine. So those who don't know that video, so it's basically a video. Actually, it's on TikTok that it really went viral. It's a video that I put up about my monthly maintenance, and the cost came to like about 35,000. And I was doing like my hair, my nails, laser, things like that. When I was putting up the video, to me I was like, wow, what a cheap month, because their months it can even be 70,000, 80,000, depending on if you get like human hair locks, if you do what, it can be even more expensive. So at the time I hadn't really seen that was the case. But one thing, because I've been online for a long time, I recognize that there is nothing you can ever say or do which will please everyone. This is just the reality. And it's like the cost of success is being willing to be shamed, so to speak. That's what I always tell people. And where money is a motivator, for me, fear and shame just don't exist, because this is how I'm feeding my children. Do you think I'll go and tell them, oh kids, this month we're not gonna eat because mommy was too scared to put up a video? For me, that just doesn't exist. I'm living my truth. Some people like it, some people don't like it, and that's just the reality of life. Like, no matter what, once you realize that no matter what you do or say, there will be some people who really appreciate it, others who don't. That's just the reality of life. So for me, first when the video went viral, I was just like, Kwani, what is it that people are so, nini about it? It's just 35,000. But I recognize that everyone also responds from where they are at that time. So for me, that helps me have a lot of empathy for people, because I'm like, even me right now, if I go and I see someone saying, oh, look, I went and did my hair for 500K, I might also be like, what? That's so much money. Me, if I had that money, I would do X and Y and Z. But guess what? That's that person, and they are where they are. This is me. I am where I am. There's someone else who will do their hair for 200 bob, and that's where they are. And being an adult is recognizing that we're all in different places, and like we just can't control what people say and what people do. So yeah.
I like that. Now I want us to talk a little bit about monetizing. First of all, can you tell us how much, what's the highest you've ever made? Is that something you can tell us?
The highest I've ever made in a single campaign?
Yes.
I think the highest I've ever made in a single campaign is I think it was a MasterCard campaign I did or something like that. I think I was paid something like $7,500 for video and stories. Okay.
Now tell us, how does someone go about pricing themselves? Because you said everybody is at a different level, and so we cannot be looking at Murugi, okay, she got paid that much, I want to price myself that way. My engagement may not be that. How do you go about pricing yourself?
So I go into this in depth in my masterclass. If people are watching, they can go to my page and get details about my masterclass. But I would say that there's many different ways that you can be able to assess. One, if you are fortunate enough to know fellow other content creators in the space, reach out to them and ask them. I have creators who reach out to me all the time and they say, Murugi, could you help me with my rate card? And I'll tell them, yeah, okay, you have 30,000 followers, you should probably charge 50K, you should charge this amount of money. So, and a lot of content creators you'll notice are very free with information. Not all of them, some of them will just be like, no, I'm not going to share with you any information. But some of us are. Me, when people reach out to me, I'm happy to give them the information. That's one. Number two, get feedback from especially people in agency, because people in agency have seen so many creators' rate cards, so they can tell you, oh, this is low, this is a lot. Sometimes you can also Google, because on Google there's this page called Glassdoor. It gives you information about like how much other people are earning, although sometimes it's not so accurate. Yeah. In fact, it says there that the average content creator earns 50,000 in a month, which, okay, maybe if you take an average, it might be that amount, but yeah, so you can go and check online as well. There's also a highlight on Eli Mwenda's page. There's a time he had done one of these like anonymous submit your rate cards. So a lot of content creators submitted their rate cards and he has put them in a highlight. So you can go there and you can check, because a lot of people were saying, okay, this is the number of followers I have, this is how much I charge for a reel and post and story. So that's a good starting point for you to know. And then as you grow as a creator, you kind of get a feel of the room. Like as you hit new milestones, your rates need to go up. When I won Instagram Influencer of the Year, of course I increased my rates. When I got 400K followers, I increased my rates. As I grow, even as like inflation changes, you keep increasing. Also a gut feeling. This is something that I always say. It's like anyone in whatever job they are, there are times where you're paid and you're like, "Ay, kwa hiyo kazi nimefanya, it's not actually, no, I need to increase." So also trust that feeling in you as a creator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about I think I watched a video you did a while back where you said that you're at a point you don't approach people. People approach you like clients. Is that where you're at?
Yeah, for years actually.
Yeah?
I think it's only in the first year, in like 2018, 2019, that I would approach clients. Now it's just, I just get the work. The work just comes to me.
So what would you advise people to get to that level? You've given us tips, but
yeah,
tell us, how does someone get to being looked for and just sitting and the money comes through?
Be consistent in your creating. Get their attention. Someone once told me at the beginning of my career, the big brands you want to work with, the people you want to work with, they don't know you exist. They don't know who you are. Even if you think you're how famous, they don't know who you are. So how do you get their attention? Tag them. You know, many times, even though I don't reach out to clients, sometimes I will tag a brand that I want to work with and just be like, hey, KQ, look, I'm taking a flight or whatever. Then the next time they're like, oh, by the way, we want to partner with you, because of course all brands are looking for value, you know, and it's not that actually when they work with me they're doing me a favor. They are not, because obviously I'm marketing for them, they are getting more clients, you know. So make sure that you are tagging them. Show brands that you are somebody who they can work with, you know. So you're always doing X and Y and Z. If you're saying that you are a hair care, you want to do hair, but I go on your page and I don't see a single video about hair. You say that you want to be a fitness influencer, there is nothing on your page which tells me you even have been to the gym in the past 1 year, you know. Live the life that you are trying to attract the brands to, right? And then also just like, I guess, time and the kind of content you're creating. So the research has shown that there are several what do you call it, industries that spend a lot on content creators. Fashion and beauty is a big one. Fashion and beauty, they spend a lot of money on content creators. Technology as well, although I don't know if it's as much in this market, but globally technology companies spend a lot on creators. Then like lifestyle, things of like family. People really like family oriented things, either from a point of like, wataachana tu, or also from a point of like, wow, I want that to be me one day. So family oriented things as well. And food is also a really, really big one. So I mean, reach out to those brands. At the beginning, you have to be willing to grovel in any industry. At some point, before you've made the inroads and you've gotten your foot through the door, you have to be willing to grovel. Go to these events where like you see they're having networking opportunities, agencies and other creators are going or whatever. See how you can go there, network, talk to people. I feel like sometimes people are too, I don't know if it's that they are too embarrassed to be seen trying. People, you just want to wake up one day and like you've already made it, but you have to be willing to feel a bit of embarrassment and shame. I remember when I first started my platform, I used to put my content as ads. And people used to really make fun of me, by the way. People used to be like, now what kind of a person is putting an ad? But I was like, for me, it makes sense because I want to reach more mothers. So why wouldn't I put it as an ad? And guys are like, oh my God, that's just so cringe. You know, you're trying too hard. But guess what? I tried too hard and here I am now.
Yeah,
so.
I think that's amazing. That's amazing. So don't feel ashamed. Just do what you need to do.
Exactly. You never go to the bank and then somebody's like, oh my God, guys, taki could kufanya job yangu because these people might think I really want the money. Yeah, we know you really want the job. We know you really want the money. So what is the issue? You know, and it's always cringe until you actually make it. And now it's like, oh my gosh, how did you do it?
Exactly.
And now you're on TV, you're in Citizen.
Yeah, exactly. That's powerful. And you really preempted my next question on that, being paid for exposure. Because, you know, there are people who are like, I know my worth. So what do you tell the people who are watching? Some of us, some of our viewers are young people. I know my worth. Why aren't you paying me already? You have not yet gotten to where you are, but you're like, I need a certain amount. What's your thought on that?
I feel like there are many times I have been paid in exposure. Many times. Even now, there are still times when I wouldn't say it's paid in exposure. It's more exchange of value. That's how I choose to see it. So, for example, if I am a new creator, and let's say there's a campaign for I don't know, maybe this place, let's say they want to give me a free event space, and me, I need a free event space. For me, that's exchange of value, because you're giving me something I was going to spend money on, and I'm giving you value in exchange. For me, I still do that. Even today, there are times where, let's say I'm going on a holiday and a brand is like, oh, we'll pay for the holiday for you. Now, I was going to still pay 500K to take my family to see where and where, but now I don't have to. So for me, it's like, it's not really exposure, because it's exchange of value. When you're a smaller creator, you need to be willing to do some amount of work for free, because it's in your best interest to be associated with certain brands, so that you can show that I am a good content creator. Let's say Nivea approaches you and they want you to do whatever of lotions, but they are only willing to give you the lotions. It's okay. You take the lotions, you do the ad or whatever. Now when people come to your page, they're like, oh, okay, see, she's even done content for Nivea, she's even done content for X and Y and Z, she's even done whatever. It helps you. So as you're building, you need to ask yourself. So it's not at all brands you'll accept, but a brand that you can see, oh, I want to be associated with them, because now maybe even in future when they are able to pay, they will consider paying me. At some point, of course, there are brands who are more than willing to keep giving you things actually for free. So you have to be willing to put a limit. Maybe even the brand, if they have done it like twice, thrice, now it's like, okay, enough. But with every opportunity, I would say, let's take it as it comes. One, each of them. But I would never, I don't say that you never work for free. Sometimes you need to work for free.
Case by case basis.
Exactly.
Now tell us, in your influencing career, what has been your highlight? What has been the biggest thing for you?
Oh my God. Same thing that has been the biggest thing for me. I would say many things throughout my career have made me excited. Winning Instagram Influencer of the Year 2022 and 2023 at the Pulse Influencer Awards was a huge highlight for me. And for me, daily, every time I wake up and I'm just like, wow, I get to live this life and have this house and have this car and have this money and do X and Y and Z just from posting about it, just from putting up a picture and a video. To me, that is always the highlight for me. It's like I have afforded myself time freedom. I'm able to be there for my husband, I'm able to be there for my kids, all because of this silly little Instagram, you know. So for me, that really is the highlight. I feel like I'm able to live the kind of life that I would never have been able to imagine living, and I'm super grateful for that.
Okay. And what has been your lowest point in this journey?
I would say my lowest points are usually when, like, I'm being cancelled online, or, like, you know, I'm going through some kind of like social media storm, which of course they come. The more you grow, for sure it will come from somewhere. Even if it's all made up, it will definitely be there. And those times sometimes can be really difficult, because then you sit and you think, why am I putting my life online so that people can come and, you know, hate on me or whatever? But then when I sit and I think, I'm like, if I was not me, maybe even me, I would hate me. Because, like, if I'm at home and me, I'm working so hard 8 to 8 p.m. and you're just there, ume post 2 pictures, ume pata 100K, na amelala, maybe I would be mad too. And then also it occurs to me that people just see life from whatever situation they are going through, you know. It's like, if I am struggling with something and I see you not struggling with it, I'll be like, how comes you're not struggling with it? You know, it's like, what has told you that you're better than us, that you can? I'm like, I ain't said I'm better than you. You're saying that I'm better than you, kind of thing, you know. But sometimes it gets difficult, especially if, like, people attack my husband or like my family, or say something mean about my kids. It can feel really bad. But when I think about the benefits I get from being online, when I think about the women that I've been able to interact with, the people I've helped, the people who reach out to me and say, oh my gosh, I never knew you could be plus size and wear a crop top. You've really improved my confidence. I never knew X and Y and Z. Wow, I have been looking for a place to get this. Like the number of things I've been able to experience by being online, for me, that's more than enough for me to stomach any of the insults that people hurl at me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, there are 3 things I've taken out from that statement. First of all, what have you been cancelled for? And then 2, how do you balance, your personal life? As you said, people will comment the way they want. So how do you balance between putting your life out there, your children and all that, and keeping some privacy? And then 3, how do you react when people come for you? Yeah, are you quiet or you're like you go back?
Yeah. So, okay, for the first question, I've been cancelled for so many things. Every other month, it's something new or different. Recently was the one for the maintenance. Other times, they've come for my marriage. Other times, it's been like, sometimes it's even like I post something about my kids and they'll be like, what kind of a mother does that? It can be most random things. For that question, now people will just have to go online and search Murugi Munyi cancelled and see. Although I always tell people, you can't cancel me because you're not the one who called me. Internet CNU, so you can cancel me, but guess what, tomorrow I'm still here earning my money, being a content creator, living my life. So did you really cancel me? That's the first one. 2, how I balance my personal life is, I guess I take it, I don't have like a general mantra, but I usually do it on a case-by-case basis. There are times where, like, for example, I shoot something and before I upload it, I feel a hesitation in my spirit, then I just don't post it. Other times, because my husband tends to be more private, so sometimes he'll just be like, don't post this, or don't take a picture of this. Even my son, he didn't like when I post him. So sometimes when like it's situations where I'm like, okay, they've said they don't want to be posted, then I don't. Other things I just balance. I ask myself, it's like, what is the purpose or what is the reason for me posting this? And many times people may try to minimize what online content does, like even posting, let's say I'm in bed reading a book for my child. It can look like, oh, you're just there showing off that you have a bed and you have a book or whatever, but someone else watches it and it's like, oh wow, that's a great idea, I want to do that with my daughter tonight. And there is a relationship you have improved just by showing that I am doing this, or you go for a prize giving day or something and the people are like, wow, oh yeah, this is so great that you're able to do this, how can I get my husband to participate in this and whatever. It really allows me to plug into people's lives in a unique way when I share my life, because then people are able to be like, oh, I struggle with that too, I have that as well, or how have you managed to do this? When I talk about things like, oh, my house help drama or whatever, then someone is in their house thinking, oh, so see Mimi Peke, we have all gone through this, and that connection is really important to me. So sometimes when I feel a hesitation, I don't post, but most times I feel freedom in my spirit and I'm just like, this is the life I'm living anyway. Just because now you're seeing it, first of all, doesn't mean you're seeing 100%. People always forget that a story is literally a 1-minute thing. My day is how many minutes? Yeah, exactly. And then your last question was, how do I deal with the whatever? When I first started my platform, I really used to clap back, because at the beginning, when you're new in the whatever, the first time you get cancelled, you're like, oh my god, babe, they're just saying mean things about me, this person is calling me fat, these people or whatever. It used to really get to me. Kwanza when I see it at the wrong time, like let's say you're in your period, alafu uone mtu amesema mazee unaweza lia. But over time, again, like I said, I've grown to have empathy. No one who is truly happy in their lives is coming online to insult someone else. If I am happy in my life, what am I doing online? Coming to say, hata wewe, hata sijui unakaa, sijui. Is that someone who's really happy in their life? So in fact, for me, I see it, I feel empathy for them. I just feel like I feel so sorry that whatever you're going through, it has made you this horrible a person. So these days, I really don't respond. I block people all the time, because you're not going to come and say nonsense to me. It's like my Instagram page, I see it like my house. So you're not going to come in my house and then you come and insult me and you want to just stay. No, I'm going to block you. So I block people all the time. Sometimes I ignore it. And one thing that I've learned about being online is that the people who love you are this many. The people who hate you are this many. The problem is that these ones are so loud that sometimes you can forget that the vast majority actually love you, actually, enjoy your content, because otherwise they wouldn't be following you. Even these ones who claim to hate you secretly, they actually do love you. Secretly they're like, yeah, wow, I wish I could. But because they feel like where she is and where I am seems so far away, it's easier for me to just hate her, kind of thing. So these days I hardly ever say anything back. One good thing about Kenya is that today you're the topic of conversation, you've been cancelled. Tomorrow Bahati has bought his girlfriend and his wife a new car. The next day, sijui miliwa Jesus amefanya nini. The day after, sijui what. So there's always something happening, and it passes, you know. So tumezoea sasa.
Okay. Now let's talk a little bit more about business. You had Wild by Murugi at a point, and you closed it, and you said it was doing well, but you just decided to close it. So tell us, what was the thinking behind closing it, and what are some of the challenges that come with running a business? Because you're a content creator, then you had a business. So what was that like balancing?
Right. So for those who don't know, well, by Murugi was a fashion boutique store. So we had a mixed model where we used to import some items from abroad, and then others we used to create locally. The reason I had opened that business to begin with was because I realized so many times I'll be wearing something, let's say mevai pant, and then I tag and I say, oh, by the way, I got this pant from place X. Place X now sells out of those pants. And I was like, this is just money I'm just putting in people's pockets, you know, because like this person, and maybe even they have not even paid me, maybe I even just paid for the trousers, you know, full price. But I keep taking, and then there's no way you can say, oh, I don't want to tell people where I got the trouser, because now it's like, oh, I'm gonna come choyo, you know. So I used to constantly be putting money in people's pockets. I was like, no, I want that money myself. So I decided to open the store. Also at that time, it was just after COVID, and I was kind of bored. I just wanted something to do. And it was working well, except for the fact that there were many challenges in that period that really, oh my God, the headaches. First of all, the taxation system which changed when we got, you know, our lovely president. And it was just, everything was just so hard. Like now suddenly, okay, you have this invoicing system and what. At some point, the business was giving me more headache. I would wake up as we at I'm like, oh God, what I need to what? And then at some point, because of the things we were importing, the fluctuation in the exchange rate. At some point, let's say you bought this, let's say I bought this watch for, let's say, $20, but by the time it has reached here, now last time $20 was 1,600. Now $20 is 5,000. And how are you telling the customer that, okay, last month you bought it for this price, but now actually you're selling it for this price? It's like you can't do that. So at some point it was just like such a headache. And then obviously when you're a public figure, you will have authorities constantly coming. We would have KRA all the time on our doors. Oh, we want to see the books.
Oh, they used to come through?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And then because when you're in a mall, watakufuata, watakutafuta. Have you filed your taxes for this month? Have you done this? It used to be, actually at some point it was a headache. My husband is the one who said to me one day, he's like, you're always complaining about this business. You're never saying anything positive. See, uifunge too. And I was like, by the way, I'm an adult. Nobody is forcing me to be here. I was like, hapana, let me focus on the business, which is actually paying me. And when I say it was doing well, it was giving me a profit, but nowhere near as much as what I earn from content creation. Because you see there's a lot of input and the output. So you're still making money, it's just not as much. You see with content, it's pretty much, it's a picture. So 100% of what you're making pretty much is yours, except for like the withholding tax you'll pay, the income tax you'll pay. But it's like, it's super, there's not much input required. And so that headache is what I didn't want. And I was just telling myself, I became a content creator so that I could have more time to spend with my kids, I could have more time to myself. Why am I struggling here like a 9-to-5 person? It's not a must. It is not a must. Also, one thing I realized is that having a big platform doesn't necessarily mean all those people are going to come and buy from your store. It definitely doesn't mean that. So there were still some months we had high sales, other months low sales, because also it depends on what are people going through. Do people have disposable income? You know, when you're selling something which is a disposable income thing, do people have disposable income? Are they shopping? Is this what, you know, then there are seasons where you're selling so much, other seasons where you're not selling as much. There's ilinipatia headache, nikasema hapana, hii si ministry yangu.
Okay, now tell us then about diversification. How do you go about it now that you're in content creation? You have other sources of revenue, because you know they always say diversification is key. So how do you go about that? Right.
So first of all, online, there are many ways you can make money online besides just brand deals. So on your page, you can make money from like brands. Let's say they have collaborated, they have paid me to advertise, whatever. You can also make money from the platform itself. So places like YouTube will pay you for views. So it's just creating content, you'll get earning money from views. Then there are other things like digital products that you can create, which enable you to earn. Like now I've started doing a monetization masterclass because I'm good at monetizing my platform. And I've only done one so far, but my next one is coming up April 26th. Details about that are on my page. Go and follow me. So you can earn money in different ways, even online. But offline, I have other things that I do. I niko na Airbnb mahali, niko na M-Pesa shop mahali, some rental flats that I have with my husband. So we have diversified, but very much so this is my main source of income, but I try to put now that main source of income into other things that can now give me income. After all, the Bible says we should have 7 sources. Well, uko na 7? Uko na 7?
No, I'm working towards. I'm working towards.
Yeah, if the Bible itself has told us, we really owe it to ourselves and our children to diversify. Because my husband, it wasn't my husband, it was just Ivy, another day asked me, she's like, if we wake up tomorrow and Instagram has been shut down, the government has said no more Instagram. Mashida. Exactly. So your income can never be dependent, 100% dependent on any other platform. So I've been now looking at like creating my own website so that I can still be able to create content even if I didn't have this platform. Also, trends are always changing. Who has told us that in 5 years' time, Instagram will even still be a thing? You know, or who has told us that Facebook, TikTok, or whatever will still be a thing? So wherever you are, you have to keep thinking outside the box, like what else can I be doing to make money or earn money? And then my husband, is he a source of income? I guess you can say. He's a source of income as well. Very much so.
That's good. Now tell us, you talked about there are different platforms. There's the Instagram. You're big on Instagram.
Yes.
But you used to be on YouTube. Are you there anymore? Are you
I'm still there, but with my podcast, TMI podcast.
Okay.
Exactly. It is actually one of the biggest podcasts in the country, and that is also another source of income because we are also among the top podcasts on Spotify and then on YouTube. So on YouTube it's only that one. I stopped creating YouTube for my own platform. It was just too much work and not enough reward. I think people are appreciating more short form content than long form content these days. So too.
So tell us, what do you see the content creation space looking like in the next 5 years? As you said, one place could be shut down. What do you see?
Hey, it's so difficult to tell. The other day I was at a career talk in my son's school. He's 14 turning 15, and they were saying that 75% of the kids his age are going to end up in careers that don't even exist today. Because even us, you can remember when we were in university, you think I even thought, oh, I can be an influencer, I can be a content creator. That was like not in our minds at all. So right now, with the way AI is moving, technology is moving, I can't even foresee. Actually, even when I started being a content creator, there was nothing like Reels. You see, there were Reels. There was no even Reels. There was IGTV. And what these things, it was just so different. So it's really hard to predict. But one thing I can say is I've definitely noticed an increase in the number of creators generally. Kwanza January, I remember just seeing so many people like, okay, me, I'm trying to be a content creator. Of course, a lot of people have seen that, oh, it's lucrative. You can actually earn money from it. You can actually sustain yourself well. People didn't believe that I bought my Land Rover Discovery from just influencer money. But I'm like, when people think we are paid in potatoes and beans, we are paid in actual money. And now I think more people are believing that you can actually make money online. And of course, making money online starts with you believing that you can make money online. So I see an influx of more content creators. I definitely see probably new platforms are going to like come into the market. There'll probably be other platforms that we don't even know that are going to exist. I'm hoping that other platforms like TikTok and Instagram can start paying creators, because I know they have that in the States and in Europe. It would be really nice if even us, we can be paid for views, because whoa, we will be happily swimming in money. So that would be fantastic. Maybe more governance with regards to social media platforms, because right now it feels like people can just do anything. People steal content all the time. People put the most vulgar things online. So maybe we're going to see a bit more governance with regards to that, and maybe more taxation, because I can see the government is getting smarter with recognizing, what one on door, by the way. Oh,
speak more on that.
You see,
on digital tax and all the
digital. I feel like it's an interesting journey in that obviously all Kenyans, for you to live in a country, it's important you pay tax, and we all pay tax, right? And I think it makes sense to me that the government is recognizing that this is a new direction that people are earning money and wants to tax it. However, I generally feel so strongly for a country that has so much unemployment, what the government should be doing is just encouraging more people to come into the space, encouraging more people to, express their creativity, and encouraging more people to just earn online before it starts like, sooner have you entered the space that you are being whatever. Because I feel like for bigger creators like me, who like your income is pretty sure, and you know every month you're going to get something at the end of the day. When you're starting out, it's not always that sure. You could have done 3 campaigns in January. By the time you're being paid, it's April. You don't do another campaign until May. So you're always trying to see how can this money stretch me. Not everybody has good husbands. Other people are just by themselves. Yeah, you have to constantly, as a creator, you're always trying to see how is this going to stretch me. At the place where I've reached right now, at least I have constant clients who it's like you're in a 1-year campaign or a 2-year campaign, so you know you're unapata pesa. But for the smaller creators, how are you even going to tax them? This little money that they are getting, you're barely getting that 30K or 50K, they already want to tax you. Another thing is that I don't know if the government is knows this, but it's difficult when you come on someone's platform to tell what is an ad and what is not an ad. You see, in the States and Europe, they have laws. You have to put ad, and you have to put ad at the beginning. It has to be clear. Here in Kenya, you wouldn't know. I can post this trouser, but I have not put ad anywhere. I've just said I got this trouser here. How are you going to prove that I was paid to say that? Unless now you come and subpoena me and say, oh, you have to come and say whatever. But there's no way to tell. Maybe I can even say on my page, I've been posting, I don't know, LG, but how can you show that I was paid by these people? You can't. I've just posted them because this is my fridge and I can post whatever I want, you know. So I feel like we still have some way to go before we can actually say that now they're able to tax digital poor and social media. And honestly, that shouldn't be their focus. I don't think that should be their focus. They should focus on these big corporate people who are evading tax. What watches is at least we the youths, I say as a 35-year-old who's about to exit the youth, we the youths, what to pay to support. You know what I mean? What to pay to support, at least people make money. Because one thing I love about social media, about digital, is that anyone can make money. Anyone can do it. It's not like there's anything so unique about Murugi or so unique about Claire or whatever. Anyone can make money online. And so I feel like it's almost like an even playing field. There are people who have seen get so many followers using just a random Oppo or you know, any kind of whatever phone. It's not that you have to have the best iPhone. It's not that you have to live in the most aesthetic house. Sometimes, like I've said, people just want community. They just want people to relate to you. So wherever you are from, wherever you are, you can become a content creator and you can make money online. And why would the government not want to encourage that? Surely.
Okay, good. Now I want us to switch gears a little bit. What does success mean to you?
Freedom. Success to me means freedom. Freedom of time, freedom to do what I want when I want, and freedom to especially raise my children in a very present way. So I would say right now I'm successful. To myself, I feel like I'm successful. I would say everything else is just added. I would say that success is also knowing that my present and my future is secure, which I'm still working on that, you know, kujenga nyumba, you know, investments and whatnot. The day that I can say that now I don't need to be online posting, I don't have to work, that's when I will be like, now I've reached the epitome. But even now where I am, I would say I'm successful. Freedom to be able to just live how you want to live, that's success to me.
Do you have a number when it comes to investments and you'll feel like, yeah, I'm secure?
100 million in investments. Because when I spoke with my wealth manager, she said, if I want a monthly income of 1.5 million, that means I need to have 100 million investments so that I can be sleeping month in, month out, and I'm still earning that. Right now I can still earn that, but I have to work. So I want to be able to earn that without working.
Sleeping.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
That would be ideal.
Okay.
And then maybe just working because you want to, not because you need the money.
Okay. What's your current read?
My current?
Read.
What I'm reading? Oh, there's a book called The Seventh Victim. It's by a lady called Mary Burton, and it's a murder mystery, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a fiction.
I love fiction, and I love thrillers. I love things about like murder and suspense and just like gripping storylines. Those are the things I like.
Okay. Who's on your playlist?
Playboy Carti. Not out of any volition of my own, but my son likes it, so now I've been listening to it so that I can relate to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What does fun look like for Murugi?
Ooh, wow. Hanging out with my sisters is always fun. I have 3 sisters. I love them very much. Hanging out with them, doing something active, which is outdoors. So like taking a walk or, you know, bike riding, swimming, outdoor activities. I really, really enjoy that. And food has to be included somewhere. Because I'm not having fun. I'm not having fun.
Not having fun.
Yes.
Okay, as we wrap up this interview, I'd like you to look into the camera and talk to our viewers. That woman who wants to get into content creation, what is that one thing you would tell her about just starting and getting to where they want to be?
Right. There's a saying, I believe it was Ben Carson, who said that start where you are, act now. If you are waiting for conditions to be perfect for you to actually begin anything, you are never going to start, because conditions are never perfect. It's easier for you to perfect something you have started than try to perfect it before you actually start. You have to be willing to be slightly embarrassed. You have to be willing to make bad content a few times for you to get the good content, but trust me, it is worth it. There are many people who have a ton of amazing ideas. Oh, this video I want to shoot, this post I want to do, this whatever, but as long as the idea remains in your head, it will never take you anywhere. Take just one of those many ideas that you have and do something about it today.
Awesome. That's good. We've been speaking to Murugi Munyi. As you've heard, take the chance right now, do it now, and be willing to be embarrassed.
Yep.
This has been She Means Business. I've been your host, Claire Munde. Until next time, have a good one.